If you consent to a reading by the DragonFae, please stay. If not, please scroll. And today we are just going to be pulling some cards to reflect on messages from the DragonFae and their realms. And I am not a fortune teller, for I am a Muslim witch, so my readings are designed to provoke self-reflection and to study thine own heart, if you will. Basically, I will be pulling questions only, guided by the dragon symbolism within these cards, the dragon and fairy symbolism in these cards, for the best outcomes of the collective and for the highest good of the collective. So in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful, what are the DragonFae speaking to us today through symbolism and imagery and correspondence? This is what I'm hearing. Ooh, bad dragon. I love this card. It's really, really pretty. The symbolism of this card is one of being scolded, one of being, what's the word? Like reminded or reprimanded, that's the word. Reprimanded is kind of like the energy that we get when we are trying to explore our reality, yet we fail in, you know, caring for others. That's how we earn being reprimanded, right? And I love this card because look, the fairy is like scolding the dragon, right? And there's a little like other fairy here going like, oh no. And the true questions that come for me like with this card is, where have you been like avoiding accountability, and have people been like scolding you? Do you feel like you're being reprimanded for something? Do you feel like you're in trouble? Like, do you feel like it is a bad idea to keep going down the path that you're going? Or are you confused as to why people are scolding you for being on your path and being true to your path? And I'm hearing to pull another one from this deck here, which is the Fairy Wisdom Oracle, written by Nancy Brown, and artwork is by Amy Brown, by the way. I love this deck. It's so beautiful. But let's see. When we feel like we are in trouble, what do the DragonFae have to say for us? Let's see. Ooh, Shaman. I love this. It's such a beautiful card. And it has number 23, and it shows basically a fairy with a staff, and like her wings are like growing like plants and like branches with leaves. And then we have the stag here and the balance stones and a little bird, and we have some spirals on the ground as well. And the imagery for this is really rich in a return to nature type of sense. Like it is getting one with nature and balance and the cosmic swirl of everything that is our life, right? And this piece of hair is driving me crazy. Anyway, but that's kind of like the imagery we're getting here, right? Where do you feel your disconnection to nature taking place? Like, where do you feel your lack of connection to Mother Earth? And how does that feel in your heart and in your guts and in your skin and in your blood and your bones, like, and in your spirit? Like, how does it feel? Do you know what I mean? Here, I'm gonna just fix this camera really quick. Hopefully the camera stays. Yes, there we go. Okay, so it's like, how does you know what I mean? Please excuse any screaming that you hear. We have kids in the neighborhood, but how do you find this balance, right? The best place to find this balance of nature and nature's cycles and nature's energy and forces is to go out into nature, actually, and disconnect from the internet and technology and the human drama of life that we've created for ourselves, and return to the earth. Like, look behind me, right? Like, see this beautiful mountain? Like, it's about taking the time to step outside and reflect and just see the awe that is this reality, and ask yourself, what is my relationship to Mother Earth and how can I make it better? Like, what's my connection to the natural world, and am I satisfied with where I am with my relationship to the natural world? Do I feel part of the natural world, or do I feel separate from the natural world? And how comfortable are you with exploring symbolism and correspondences and, you know, metaphors and riddles? Do they make you feel anxious? Do they more comforting and easy for you to understand than other people. That's kind of what I'm getting with this one. And then lastly, for this deck, they said look at the bottom of the deck. Aw, I love this. It's the Jewel of the Sea, one of the most beautiful cards in this entire deck. Oh my gosh. I love the mermaid energy, and the fact that the mermaid has like this like back fin on her is like, or him. I think it's a her actually, but it could be whatever gender you want it to be. And then this little like leafy sea dragon, super cute. Super cute. Sorry, there's some little buggos everywhere. But Jewel of the Sea really represents this like magic, this essence of like, what's the word? Sparkling wonder, wealth, and abundance, and true like magic of the ocean. And that is often encapsulated by mermaids, okay? And by that like very siren type energy, and like pearls, and you know, like underwater kingdoms of Atlantis, and crystalline energy. Aquamarine has been like a theme, okay? But that's kind of like the symbolism of like the Jewel of the Sea. And when we feel a lack of connection to the Jewel of the Sea, especially within ourselves, we have to ask ourselves, where have we been neglecting our own inner waters? Where have we been, you know, poisoning our own inner oceans? And how can we handle these waves of emotion that we go through within our lives? And how do we not judge ourselves when we feel and express and shapeshift and dive deep in a way that people misunderstand and don't understand and fear? And how do we still love ourselves through that? And how do we still embrace, you know, our deep ocean waters and our starry depths? You know what I mean? Like, so many people are so shallow, right? Like, how can you embrace how like expansive you are? Like, how like all-encompassing you are when it comes to the way you see the world, and the way that you feel things, and the way that you move throughout this reality. Because chances are, if you found my channel, like, you're not just an average day thinker unless you happened upon me by accident. Like, chances are, like, you think about the world and you wonder about things and you want to find answers, and there's nothing wrong with that. You are a jewel of the sea. Like, you are a deep thinker, you're free flowing, you are shape shifting, you are in, you know, high tide and low tides, and you don't force yourself into a box. You are fluid that way. You are the currency of this reality. Like, that is what I need you to understand, right? And this is what the DragonFae want us to know, is that, like, if you are a soul that feels deeply, that thinks, you know, expansively, that shapeshifts, that doesn't fit into rigid boxes and categorizations, that you are the category of your own, right? Like, the DragonFae want you to know that you are the currency of this reality, and don't let other people tell you otherwise, okay, bestie? I don't know, but that was like super hella intense. We love DragonFae so very much. But let's jump on to our next deck for the reading. We're going to be using the Gothic Tarot, I think, no, the Gothic Oracle by, is it, I think her name's Amy something. I'll have all of the decks that I use listed in the description, so nobody has to worry if they love one of the decks. It's there for you to check out. And I have a hat. There we go. Alright, so here for this one with the DragonFae, we really wanted to see how can we better improve our shadows and better embrace them and shape-shift them and not let them control us, because we really don't want our shadows to control us, right? So let's see where the DragonFae want us to look and which direction they want us to reflect in for those shadows. Ooh, we love it. We love it. Serpent's Spell. Oh my god, I love this card so much. Yes, it is Medusa. Shout out to her for having the Eye of Horus on her as well. I think the imagery of this is a little interesting. It's very dark and very ancient, right? And we love to see Medusa depicted like as like in her serpent tail, right? Like as a gorgon. And the serpent spell, when this card comes up in our readings, it really forces us to look at and reckon with how we define and how we relate to the dark feminine energies, and relate to a woman scorned, and how we relate to feminine wisdom of the deep and forbidden magics, and, you know, things that we're told are taboo. These are the things that come up, especially in connection to our trauma, in connection to our relationship with rigid orders and structures that seek to take away sovereignty, personal power, and suppress seduction, right? When we encounter these energies, we have to ask ourselves, who do I want to be if the world is going to hate me anyway? We have to ask ourselves, how do I want to show up when I already know the world is going to judge me and come up with their own narrative for me? How do I be fearless and unafraid in my approach to life? How can I embrace the parts of myself I was told to reject, to silence, and to suffer from? How do I embrace who I am without allowing anyone else to influence that decision is truly the most important part of the Serpent spell. But more than that, on the flip side, it is, how can I attract and seduce the life of my dreams? How can I become so magnetic that no one can ignore me, including and most importantly my own self? How do I become so magnanimous in the sense that I'm so embodying my love for life that I don't want to miss a single second of my life with myself? How do I radiate my beauty, my power, my wisdom, my care? Because some people think that this isn't like a dark feminine quality, but it is when it is chosen and given in the form that the, you know, feminine form chooses. It becomes patriarchal when we embody a ideal of the feminine energy or essence that we feel is required to perform in order to feel whole. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about how you want to show up in your energy, in your feminine energy, and how that looks for you, especially if you identify like as a feminine presenting human being, and what that means for you in terms of, how do I show up in my body? How does that feel in my body? Am I enjoying how that feels in my body? Like, do I love the way that I look? Do I hate the way that I look? Where does that come from and why? Am I loving my body for the right reasons? Am I loving my body because I fit standards that other people tell me I should? These are questions you should be asking yourself, right? Oh my gosh. Serpent spell is so heavy. And when we go through these heavy energies, let's see what the DragonFae really want us to uncover when it comes to that. So this is the one that I'm feeling we should read. We have Dragon Trainer, yeah. But the vision I'm getting from this card is not like you training dragons, it's that the dragons are training you, right? So that's kind of the energy. When we face our shadows and Siren confirmation, when we embrace that chaotic nature within us and we embrace the things that people tell us are ugly about us and people tell us are taboo about us and people tell us is wrong about who we are, like, it's a training wheel from the dragons that are training you to embody yourself fearlessly, to be authentic in how you wish to become and shapeshift in this world. It's about the dragons enabling you to find your own footing. It's how the dragons know that you would best like flourish, right? Something I try to tell people when it comes to working with dragons and training with dragons is that it's about trusting the dragons and their wisdom, knowing how to help you, right? Like, more Siren confirmation, okay? And like, The dragons are far older and far wiser, beyond human comprehension. And that's why when we develop our relationships with our dragons and our dragon guardians and our dragon guides, it's all about trusting that connection and knowing that they won't lead you astray, and knowing that if they do test you by lying to you, if they do test you by telling you something that might not be accurate, if they are giving you riddles to solve, know that that is a honor to have and to hold and to pass that trial, because you may never know what the dragons have in store for you if you just trust them and follow them and see where they take you, right? When we get the dragon trainer card, we have to ask ourselves, where are we under training? And where are we training our dragons to better understand us? Because this is part of the process of developing that relationship and that connection, right? Especially when we're working through things like our shadows, right? Like, we really need to rely on our dragons, and we need to take that time to train with each other in order to better understand each other and how we navigate that, like, with each other, right? And so that's why when we get this card, like, you need to ask yourself, like, where do I need practice? Okay, like, where do I need to get better? Like, where am I weak? It's okay to admit you are weak. That is the first step towards strength, is admitting, hey, I could get better here. Hey, I'm not good enough here. Hey, I don't like this. Hey, I'm confused. Hey, I'm lost. Like, that's number one, right? Like, that's step number one, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in your dragon training. Do you understand me? Like, do you feel ashamed of training with dragons? Do you feel ashamed of being trained by dragons? Do you feel ashamed of training dragons how to better interact with you? Right? Just some things to think about. And of course, looking at the bottom of the deck, we have Awaken Your Magic. Exactly, because ultimately the dragons want us to awaken our magic, and it's not in the sense of like becoming the master of all spells and rituals and becoming the best there ever was, blah blah blah. Awakening your magic is so much more simple than that, in the sense that it's like, do you remember that being created and embodied as you are here, even able to scroll through your feed and click on this video today, is such a magical fact of your existence? Do you realize that the breath in your lungs, the fact that your lungs are able to take those oxygen molecules and convert them to a way that your organs need in order to stay alive, and your heart pumps the blood around your body relatively okay, if not perfectly? Do you realize that's magic, right? Like, do you realize the fact that if you have a heart that beats and is pumping blood, like, that is the magical current? Do you realize that, right? Do you realize that you don't need the wand? You are the wand. Like anything can be your magical extension when you understand that you are the magical source, okay? Like, the energy that you radiate naturally is the magic that we're talking about here, okay? And that's what we need you to understand, as like that's what the DragonFae like are trying to convey to us when we are on a path with them and trying to understand what they mean and what they want for us. And it's ultimately to awaken to our own magic, to remember who we are and how important we are and how special we are embodied in this lifetime as human beings. Like, don't forget how special you are. Like, I know people are like, I'm a dragon, I'm a fairy, I'm a this, I'm a that. Like, absolutely, but at the same time, like, don't ever forget that you're still human fundamentally at the end of the day, with a human heart and a human vessel. And that is such a gift, and it is so magical. There's nothing mundane about being human. We've only tricked each other into thinking that it's like that, okay? So that is something to definitely consider when you are walking with them dragons. And we have another deck. I don't remember the name of this deck off the top of my head, but I think it has to do, I think it's like the Dragon Wisdom Oracle, if I remember correctly. But again, all of my decks that I use in today's video will be in the description or in the comments or whatever. But let's see. This life is really difficult and very hard to navigate, especially when we're working with creatures like the DragonFae. And how can we better connect with our DragonFae guardians to navigate this world, to navigate this life, and to feel like we're more full of faith, right? So the cards that we pulled are the Water Chalice. I love this one. It's such a beautiful card. And then we also pulled the New World, which is a leopard dragon. Such a cool concept for a dragon, by the way. But with these two cards, we have here is the symbolism of this wild, overgrown, this animal dragon hybrid that really embodies unique ideas and wild concepts. And then we have this chalice, this water chalice that's very golden, regal energy, but overflowing with crystalline pools, very, again, aquamarine colors, right? And it's about this cascading waterfalls that symbolize this abundance with little like dragons around the chalice cup that still represent the dragon energy is present here. So with this kind of symbolism that we see, it's like an overwhelming like source, or reservoir is the word I'm hearing, reservoir, of dragon energy, of like crystalline liquid dragon energy that pours over us and our ideas for a new world, of a new way of being, understanding that we are allowed to be geeky, cheeky, and freaky in our new ideals, our new state of being, our new found acceptance for who we are. Sometimes you start a new chapter the second that you accept who you are, right? You might have known who you are your whole life, but you haven't actually started living your life until you fully accept who you are, right? So that's kind of what this energy embodies. And the questions that are really coming up from that symbolism are you afraid of the water? Like, do you know how to swim? Something about anxiety around not being able to swim can be very overwhelming, especially when we're connecting with like dragon energy. Are you afraid of turning your uniqueness all the way up to maximum level, breaking the scale, if you will, and allowing yourself to just show up fully regardless of how people judge you? Because it can be very intimidating. Trust me, I get it. Showing up like this on the internet, I get it way more than you think. And I need you to understand that if you feel that way and you feel othered and you feel like rejected or just like dismissed in your life, your like day-to-day life, please don't forget that we love you, okay? Like, please don't forget that you're welcome and you have a place to belong. And if you ever feel like a misfit or you feel too geeky, cheeky, and freaky for like the world, please consider joining the Hatchling Clan Discord server, because we are here to cheer you on and embracing this new world for you and helping you accept yourself. If people have always made you feel like you don't deserve love and acceptance and dignity for who you are, you do. Like, do you feel like you accept love and dignity as your geeky, cheeky, and freaky self? Do you feel like you deserve love and care, like, even when you're different? Because if the answer is no, like, I'm so sorry people have ever made you feel that way. You always deserve dignity. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, you always deserve dignity. And you deserve these, like, clear and pure and charged like waters to wash over you and purify you and make you feel whole and make you feel happy and make you feel like you are capable and able to embrace who you are. Like, you are allowed to have those things, right? And next we're gonna pull a card from the Oracle of the DragonFae by Lucy Cavendish. This is one of my favorite decks working with the DragonFae, of course. And let's see what DragonFae we should work with to really reflect on these heavy themes of being othered and outcasted and our relationship to everything in our world because of this like fundamental rejection of who we are born as. What DragonFae should we work with to better understand that? Ferna Clarity, of course. I love Ferna. She's number 43, and in the DragonFae Oracle, she really represents how people respond to us in a way that says and reveals more about them than it does about us. And when we are embodying like that radiant DragonFae shape-shifting aura that's mythical, that's magical, that's unrecognizable yet understandable and familiar, when we embody that ethereal energy, we have to understand that people are going to have sometimes very dramatic reactions to that, especially if you don't fit in their boxes of what they think is and is not permissible. That's going to make people have a lot of wild reactions, but guess what that's only going to be doing for you? It's only going to be showing you who these people are, where their limits are, where their imagination ends and yours expands, right? And it's about not letting these people tame your wildness. It's about not letting whatever you choose to follow, whatever you choose to believe in, it's about that I'm still myself. I'm still who I choose to be, regardless of what the world tries to make of me, right? And that's why when we get Ferna, like, that's the symbolism of her card, right? Like, when we get Ferna in these readings, we have to ask ourselves, am I afraid of the way others judge me? Am I afraid of being one of one? Am I afraid of being entirely unique as myself? Am I afraid of those that I love most misunderstanding me when I reveal to them who I really am? Am I afraid of being disowned for who I am? Am I afraid of being fundamentally rejected, outcasted, and thrown away simply by showing up as who I want to be and who I am today? These are the questions that matter the most when Ferna comes up. Because chances are, just like me and just like most of humanity, the society and the way that it says you have to be and who you have to believe in and the way you have to practice anything is suffocating for those of us who are especially neurodivergent, in the sense of, like, we just do things our own way. We're in our own space, in our own time, and it's just different. The way we experience this world is just different. You gotta ask yourself, am I okay with being different? Am I okay with being in my own space at my own time? Am I all right with that? Or am I uncomfortable by that? Do I hate that I have to be in my own space at my own time? Does that make me fundamentally angry? Right? These are the questions that we really must tune in with in our own hearts when Ferna comes up in our readings, because she asks us to reflect on how authentic we're being, and she asks us to really look in the mirror in the sense of, on the path of this journey called life, where do you stand? And do you stand where you want to, right? So before we get out of here, we're going to use these message cards, which are, I believe, called the Star and like the Star Moon, the Stars and Moons messages. I don't know. I know it's by Jessica Lee, but again, all of my cards will be in, all the decks I use today will be in the description and comments for you, wherever they fit, because sometimes it doesn't fit in the description, but I'm rambling. Anyway, let's see what closing messages the DragonFae want us to remember before we head on out. Alright, let's see. These cards are so much fun. I love, like, the back of them. Look how pretty they are. They're so much fun. Alright, let's see which ones we pulled. We got Evolve and New Horizons. So Evolve says the cosmic potential flows through you. I love that one. And then we have New Horizons. Old ways won't open new doors. I love that. And it's really just a message. The DragonFae are really the mythical creatures that remind us that it's okay to break down barriers. It's okay to, you know, be outside of the grain, against the status quo. The DragonFae are those like entities that embody the, you know, thinking outside of the box, right? It's about being unique in your own way. And that's why when you choose to be yourself and you choose to be like, you know what, I am who I am and I will not let anyone take that away from me, that's when the DragonFae love to see you shine, because you don't even understand how you sparkle when you choose yourself, and how it's just the beginning of a beautiful journey when you're like, you know what, I pick me to be number one for me, before what they think I should be, before they know who I am, before anything, okay? That is the difference. And that is what it means by, like, the evolving and new horizons. But I'm hearing, look at the bottom of the deck for a final message. Yeah, just to really, like, make it, like, push it in for everybody. New beginnings. From chaos comes calm, and we have a maelstrom at the very bottom of it, okay? So let this reading remind you today that what chaos are you avoiding inside yourself that is the catalyst for you to become a new beginning. A new chapter of your life is awaiting. What parts are you still stuck in, denying yourself that progress? What maelstrom are you trying to balance? What vortex are you caught in? How do you break free? Are you afraid to break free? Are you afraid to fly? Is that the reason why you're still in the water? I wanted to thank you guys so much for spending some of your day with me today. This is like, I'm so excited to be doing these readings for us every midnight here at the Dragon Witching Hour, I'm calling it. And it's just kind of to remind us to stay in a reflective mode and ask ourselves important questions, to kind of use as like a checkpoint every day of where we're at. That's truly what my readings are meant for, and I will never message you for a reading, so please do not get scammed. And if you want a personal reading, you can purchase one over on my Etsy shop at the Hatchling Hollow, Hatchling Hollow. If you are interested in getting a personal reading from me, I offer them via private unlisted videos and PDF files explaining all of the cards that you get and their symbolism. And that's kind of just what we do here. But other than that, don't forget to join the Hatchling clan. It's free if you love dragons and want to continue today's conversation and continue the discussion of the questions we asked in today's video. We would love to have you over there, especially if you're dragonkin, because we are just a big old happy dragon family over there. It's super fun. But we will see you very soon, and until next time, stay geeky, chick, African, little Hatchlings! Ding, 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 ding. But anyway, Kadalis, blessed be, and please follow me so I don't get lost.